Bij mij komt zitten Katharina Ba. Hi.
Hey.
Artist in resident from the, we say Festival Oude Muziek, old music. We're going to talk about that also. But first of all, this CD, Luther's Wedding Day, which you did with your ensemble. It's your take on what music could have possibly been played on Luther's wedding. How did you come up with that idea?
I always was very fascinated by historical personalities and things that happened, and to look back and see how people felt or what they might have heard and what music they were surrounded by. And then we came up with Martin Luther because he is, without any doubt, a very important person. And in fact, when his life was, it's the music we dedicate ourselves mainly with my ensemble, with Cappella della Torre. So it was quite logical for us to do something with Martin Luther. And as in Germany, it's done very often, as in other countries as well. We thought about doing something a little bit different, in a different way. So this is how the idea came up.
Wow, okay. And, well, I personally didn't know even that Luther was such a talented musician. I mean, he's mostly known as an important reformer, a monk, a theologian. But apparently he was also a musician and a composer. What was his talent specifically in music? What was he good at? And yeah.
It's very fascinating. Since he was a boy, he sang in church choirs, and when he attended the Latin school, he of course did also the Gregorian chant and the masses and everything. And later on, when he then went to university, he was also surrounded by music. We know that he was a tenor, he was a singer with a very nice, even not too loud tenor voice. It's in one of the sources. And he was a lute player, as we also have a lute player with us.
Yes.
And he even could do the intavolatura. It's like if you can write music, polyphony, to be in a special way of notation for lute, for example. So Luther was able to do this, and he was really surrounded by music and fascinated by music during all his life, I think.
What did he change in church music? Because his influence was quite big.
His influence was incredibly big. First of all, he started translating this Gregorian chants and antiphons from Latin language to German, which is very interesting. An example, for instance, is this antiphon Da Pacem Domine, where the real translation would be please give peace, Lord. And Martin Luther did Verleih uns Frieden gnädiglich. So it's already an interpretation, and this is one of his most famous texts. And I think he really started putting his texts on music to make it easier to understand. So he would translate texts to German to give it to the people. And he changed the church music also in the way that when people are singing and playing polyphony, then the texts wouldn't be so easily be understandable.
How did he make it understandable?
Yeah, he did different compositions where all the voices said the same text at the same time. So then it was much easier for everybody to also rely on the text.
Now, you try to reconstruct, almost like a soundtrack, the music of his wedding. Based on what did you come up with all these titles and this music?
On the special wedding day, there's really no evidence about the music that sounded there and that was heard. But as we know so much about Martin Luther's life, and we have other sources, we know how his wedding might have been done and what happened on that day. So we know so many things from different sources that we can imagine how it could have sounded. So every piece on this disc and in this program is, of course, put there because we did research and we know that it's really probable that it sounded there. But as we don't have the real soundtrack from Luther's wedding day, we had to do another one.
I understand. And the instruments that your ensemble plays is also the music instruments from that time.
Exactly, yeah.
And also
So this is my instrument. This is the shalmai, sham in English. And this is the specialty of Capella della Torre, because we are basically a wind ensemble. And so the shalmai is one of the basic instruments. We have the soprano and then also the alto shalmai, alto sham. And we also use Dalcian, which is the grandfather of today's bassoon, for instance. So this is, by the way, the grandfather of today's oboe. It's played with a similar reed and everything.
Yes.
And then we have trombone. So this is the basic winds of the ensemble. But as it was also done in Martin Luther's time in Frühe Neuzeit, we combine it with singers, which we don't have today, but with organ, with lute, and with percussion, depending on the repertory we are playing.
All right. You will be playing on the Oude Muziekfestival.
Yeah.
Zing, vecht, huil, bid. What are you going to play for us now?
Now we are going to play an improvisation on a dance which is called passamezzo. And we do know how people have been improvising in Renaissance times. But as we do it today, and for today's public, we use this knowledge and then we do it for this moment.
Okay. And which part of the wedding is this?
I think it's in the second part when they're already on the party.
Okay. Well, I'm totally there. I will listen to the music and I'm picturing the wedding.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.